Hello and good morning, all of you. Today we are going to discuss aphorism number 2 from Organon of Medicine. This is Dr. Shaurik Ghosh, and I am a professor of Organon of Medicine in homeopathy. And I am trying to make an easy understanding of the Organon of Medicine. So this is the Organon of Medicine, with the book which all the students need to follow, as because if you are learning from me, it's good. If you are learning from my teacher, it's better, and if you are learning from Hahnemann, it is the best. So we have many books, but the main thing is that when you are reading the Organon, so we must read the Organon from Hahnemann's book. And as Hahnemann has written the Organon of Medicine in German language, we are reading the translation of Dr. William Borick and Dajen in the 6th and 5th edition respectively. And this is the most important thing which we need to know before starting the Organon of Medicine. So this is the second page which I have already displayed in my previous lecture of aphorism number 1. Let us start aphorism number 2. So before starting aphorism number 2, I would like to say that when we have discussed aphorism number 1, we got a direction, or we got our destination, the mission, the aim, the object of a physician, that what we have to do, we have to cure a patient. That is the most important thing among many other work of a physician. Now when we say about cure, what we can say about perfect cure? Because when we treat a patient, sometimes there is a palliation, sometimes there is a suppression, sometimes there is just a recovery. And when is the actual cure? Let me tell you that the medical science before Hahnemann was exactly not aware about what a cure means. This is the aphorism number 2, where Hahnemann has given the direction of cure, or what we may say, that he has make us understand exactly what cure means. It is given as the highest ideal of cure. Let us read aphorism number 2. The highest ideal of cure is rapid, gentle and permanent restoration of the health, or removal and annihilation of the disease in its whole extent, in the shortest, most reliable and most harmless way, on easily comprehensible principles. So let us first understand this aphorism number 2, because we have to simplify the Organon of Medicine. We have to just understand the thing in a very simple manner through our common sense. So what it is written here, that the highest ideal of cure is rapid, gentle and permanent restoration of health. That is, when a cure occurs, the restoration of sick to health occurs, it should be very rapidly, it should be very gently, and it should be permanent. That is, no relapse of the disease should take place. Next line, or removal and annihilation of the disease in its whole extent. When we are curing a disease, it should be completely eradicated, not that some remnants are there, not that after a few days it is relapsing, it is coming back again and again, not that. It should be completely removed from the body. Next line, in the shortest, most reliable and most harmless way. So in the shortest, the way you are choosing to cure a patient, it should be in a very short method. It should not be prolonged, so that the suffering of the patient will be prolonged. It should not be like that. It should be very reliable, most reliable. It should be experimentally and by the experience, it should be proved properly, upon which we must have some faith. And it should be harmless. There will not be any type of extra suffering to the patient. So this the points is very important. On easily comprehensible principle, see, our nature has some principles, there are some laws, everything which is happening in our nature, there are some fixed things. Suppose if we see that there is a force called the gravitational force, and it has been proved by the scientists that there is a particular acceleration due to gravity. There is a particular force through which we are attracted to the center of the earth, and this is nature. See, if there is no such fixed condition in the gravity, then what will happen? I am sitting in the chair, I may fly anywhere. Everybody is going, they may go anywhere in any direction. There will be everything haphazard. So nature has made itself in such a manner that everything, behind everything, there is a principle, there is a law. So when we are curing a patient, we must follow some law, some principles. Now let us explain this aphorism number 2. So this is the aphorism number 2. Again, this aphorism is from the book of Dr. Dijen and Dr. Borik's translation, and this is aphorism number 2. The highest ideal of cure, that is written in the blue color. This is my handwriting because I have taken the picture of my book. Why I take this picture? See, in the PowerPoint I may type the thing. That is okay. That will be it is also good. But if I am giving you the evidence that I am reading this book, I am taking the picture from my book, I think that you will also read your own book. So let us discuss the point. In aphorism number 2, we get some point. To read aphorism number 2 easily, first of all, pick out the points. Okay, you see, you make 3 lines. In the above 1, 2, 3, in between there is 2, and at the end again 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, and at the end there is a word. What is this 3, 2, 3? That is, one is rapid, gentle, permanent. That is the upper 3, rapid, gentle, permanent. In between, removal, annihilation, and below that, in the shortest, most reliable, most harmless. These 3. So 3, 2, 3, and at the end, all easily comprehensible principles. So this 3 to 3 and easily comprehensible principle, you can understand aphorism 2 very easily. So let us discuss the point. First of all, rapid. Now I have taken this from the book of B.K. Sarkar commentary. Disease is suffering. The sooner the person is relieved of his suffering is better for him. It goes without saying that the method of cure which takes the shortest time is certainly the ideal method. So we see that when a person is diseased, we must cure him as quickly as possible. Now presently there is a controversial word which everybody has to face. Some tells that homeopathy takes time. It is not true. Homeopathy is the fastest method of cure. Why? First of all, I can tell you, I myself has many cases, and all my gurus, all my teachers, I have seen many cases where there is a magical and fast cure by homeopathy. I can tell you one example. When I was practicing in the very beginning, in my clinic, one child came to me. She was in class 9 with her mother, and she was not able to stand even. So this type of fever she was having, and I took the case. It was an acute disease, and typically she was having the unquenchable thirst, and she was having a dry mucous membrane, having that type of headache. You can understand that she was very resembling bryonia, and I have given her bryonia, and she went away, and I was sitting in my clinic for about 2 hours. Then I have to go to another clinic that was in Calcutta. After the 2 hours, when I was going out from my clinic, the child lives just the next door to my clinic, and I saw her with a badminton racket. I told her, what you are doing here? She was telling that, uncle, I'm fit, I'm okay, I'm taking your medicine, I'm too much fit. And her mother also told me that, doctor, this is a miracle what you have done. I told her that you take rest, and it is not completely done, but still it is like that. This similimum medicine, whatever it is, it was a similimum, and it works fastest, even more than paracetamol, what we generally use in the fever. So if we give medicine on the basis of symptom similarity, you can get fastest cure. In chronic disease, in the other system of medicine, there is no cure. At least in homeopathy, there is cure. The question is that a patient who is suffering more than 4 to 5 years, more than 8-10 years due to a chronic disease, we cannot cure him within a fortnight. We cannot cure him within a month. He or she may require some time to cure completely. It may require 3 to 4 months to completely. For example, take the case of any type of skin disease. Suppose we do not apply any type of ointments, we give the medicine from internally, and maybe it is taking 2 or 3 or 4 months, but after that the patient is completely cured. Whereas comparatively in allopathic system or other system of medicine, they use the ointments, and it is gone within 2 to 3 to 4 to 7 days, and after 1 month it is again relapsing. So if we compare between homeopathy and other system of medicine, in the chronic diseases we cure. It may require 2 to 3 months. One patient who is suffering from 2 to 3 years, it is not so much, if it is not an emergency, it is not so much difficult that for that patient to wait for 2 to 3 months until he gets a complete cure. But if he is given a palliation where the symptoms returns again and again, that is not a complete cure. So we can say that in part of acute disease and in part of chronic disease also, homeopathy gives the fastest cure. Now see, this is the question. I have given you 2 examples because this is a class, this is not an examination center, so we can explain anything for our better understanding, because this point is very, very important, as because most of our patients also tell us that doctor, it will take some time in your homeopathy. I say no. It is the homeopathy does not take time. Homeopathy is the fastest cure. You tell your symptom properly. In acute disease, I can cure you before the allopathic the medicine. Sorry, I am not putting down any other system of medicine, but homeopathic system of medicine, it follows the proper science. That is why the result comes like this. And in chronic cases, I tell the patient here that if you are suffering for more than years, it may take 1 or 2 months, but I can cure you completely. I will not give you any type of palliation or suppression. So this is the thing which we can discuss in our exam also. That what do you mean by this rapid? Rapid means the fast cure, where we the system of medicine which we should choose, it should cure the patient very rapidly, so that the patient does not suffer more. Okay, so I can tell you that in this aphorism number 2, there is no mentioning of homeopathy. I had mentioned homeopathy as because this is a book written by Hahnemann. But if you go to the point rapid, you just mention this thing, that when the patient is suffering, he should be cured very quickly. So we need to do a rapid cure. Next, gentle. Now, when we see, if we want to cure a patient, we should cure a patient in such a manner that he should not suffer further. If we see this commentary of B.K. Sarkar from this book, the method of cure should be as painless and harmless as possible. A diseased man is already suffering. In his suffering, if his suffering is made worse by the method of treatment adopted, it is like adding fuel to the fire. During Hahnemann's time, leeching, cauterization, blistering and other torturesome practices were invoked. So during that time, there was typical type of torturing treatment. Leeching was cauterizing, this type of painful treatment was given to the patient, and instead of curing one disease, they are inducing more pain to the patient. So it is horrible. To prevent sepsis, a wounded limb was dipped in boiling oil or tar, and agony of the patient was made worse. Nothing could be more welcome to a patient if a painless method of treatment could be discovered, and this is certainly one of the factors of the highest ideal of cure. Some object of the method of treatment by injections, whether subcutaneous, intramuscular or intravenous, as they might cause some amount of pain due to needle pricking, but it is easy to follow the Hahnemann kept in mind those other torturesome practice when he advocated gentler method of treatment, even if those methods eventually led us to cure of sick. You see, in homeopathy we give some sweet globules. and it cures except surgical disease. Maximum of the disease is cured by these sweet globules with medicated with our medicine. Even we there is one question, it is also I have faced this question during my service life, that whether homeopathy requires injection or not. If you go to aphorism number 16 and if you go to the last aphorism of administration of medicine, we can see, just I am telling this just to make you clear in part of where the question of injection arises, that we does not require any injection because homeopathic medicine acts on the sentient faculty of nerves, not through the blood. So if the medicine touches our body, it starts acting. So when we are giving this any type of besides talking about homeopathy, just taking aphorism number 2, how can we cure in a very perfect manner, that our cure should be gentle. We should cure in such a manner that the patient should be very painlessly and very gently cured. So this is the reason why Hahnemann has told this thing, because during Hahnemann's time there were some torturesome methods of treatment, and during this treatment was making the patient in a worse condition, which Hahnemann wants to avoid. So we should cure in a very gentle manner. Next point, permanent. Now this is a very important point where this point was overlooked for thousands of years, as because whenever we want to treat, or if we are having some patient from our end, if I am a patient, if you are a patient, what we think that how fast I can get relief from the suffering. Now generally we do not give emphasis on the point of permanent. That is, the disease should not return again and again. If you see this point from B.K. Sarkar, again the commentary of B.K. Sarkar, disease is a state of suffering of living organism due to some deviation from the state of normal health, which keeps the man in condition of ease or comfort. Cure is alteration of the altered state of health to its previously normal healthy state. Cure is not worth the name if the health is not restored permanently. A temporary restoration of health to be followed by suffering of any sort falls short of the ideal cure. Palliation or suppression of the state of suffering should not be our ideal. So when we are curing, the cure should be permanent and it should not be, the disease should not be relapsed. By regarding this point, I can mention the Hering's law of cure. The Hering's law of cure has been compiled by Dr. Kent as Hering's law of cure. Basically, this law, it came first from Paracelsus, then Hippocrates, then Hahnemann, and Dr. Hering has combined all these three, and Dr. Kent has kept this law in front of us as Hering's law of cure. That is, cure should be from within outward, from that is from center to periphery. The symptoms will come from center to periphery. If we give medicine to a patient and if you observe the patient, his symptoms are suffering from center to periphery, we can understand that cure is occurring. From above downwards, that is, if there is a symptom in your head, it should reduce, and in the lower portion of the body should give some symptom, that is, the symptoms are going from above downwards. It is also a direction of cure, and cure should be in the reverse order of appearance of symptoms. In the reverse order of appearance of symptom, that is, suppose in the last month a patient is having some sort of cough, and 6 months before he was having some sort of cough with nosebleed, and if you are giving a medicine and he gradually his cough disappears and again some cough comes with some nosebleed, that is, the symptoms is going in a reverse direction of appearance. You should not get upset by this symptom. You have to first understand whether the patient who is telling this symptom was suffering by this symptom previously. If it is there, you can consider that it is following Hering's law of cure, that is the proper direction of cure, and your medicine is correct, it will do a confirmed cure. So Hering's law of cure, we can mention, students can mention in this point regarding the permanent. Next point, now removal and annihilation. Regarding this thing, you can read, I am explaining. Now see that what does removal means? Removal means you have to keep something or you have to remove something from the place, and annihilation means it is completely destroying something, completely killing something. So you see that sometimes there is the state of suffering. You see that in the acute diseases or in this position, you have to do something, you have to regulate the routine, or you have to do something superficial medicine, giving some superficial medicine which can remove this symptom and the disease is removed from the body. In chronic diseases, you have to go to the miasmatic treatment. Until and unless you give an anti-miasmatic treatment, you cannot cure completely, or you cannot annihilate the disease completely. So the removal and annihilation, these both term has been used in this part, where we can cure the patient in the according to the situation. Next, the point. Now this harmless, we have already mentioned one thing, that is gentle, that is our the cure should be very gentle. Okay, the cure, the patient should not suffer. And harmless, that is the method we are using, it should be a harmless method. We should not give further pain, we should not give the suffering to the patient, we should not give any type of treatment which is creating some inconvenience within the vitality of the patient. So our method should be very harmless. And why this is mentioned, because during Hahnemann's time the treatment was very torturesome, and Hahnemann was very upset by this treatment, where there are other methods also, there are other ways also to treat a patient harmlessly. So our method of curing should be in a harmless way. One thing it has been skipped, I am mentioning that shortest. So there is a relation between rapid and shortest. What is the rapid and the shortest? That is, rapid means the cure should be very rapidly, and shortest means the method we are applying, it should be the shortest method. Okay, suppose you want to go from Jaipur to Delhi. Now there is a single way from Jaipur to Delhi, but you are first of you are going to Mumbai, then Mumbai to Ahmedabad, then again going to Delhi. So you are reaching Delhi, but you are making a long trip unnecessarily. In our medical science also, when we are having a direct method or the shortest method, you see the symptom, go to the symptom similarity, properly find the medicine on the basis of our principle, and give the medicine, it will cure. But unnecessarily you are giving unnecessary drugs, your the application of the cauterization, the application of the emetics, unnecessarily antipyretics, present day antibiotics, overdosing of antibiotics, these are very wrong thing which are unnecessarily done. So our method should be very shortest, which we have to adopt. Next, on easily comprehensible principle, I just mentioned in the beginning of this lecture that everything in nature are following some rules, laws and principles. Without rules, without laws, principle, nothing can happen. We cannot so just you if you people are aware about your physical science chapters, just see the chapter, if you remember the chapter of friction. Okay, everything is in our position due to this friction. Everything is due to this friction. Suppose you see this is a pen. Now this pen, this is a cap, it is tight due to friction. Okay, so if we are present, everything is, if the molecules are not tied up in this manner, there are intermolecular space. So can you understand, everything is having or it is following the nature's rules. The state of matter, solid, liquid and gas, if you see there is 200-degree temperature, can we expect ice? No, because it will not follow it must follow the law of nature. In 200 degrees centigrade, there should be steam or boiling water even. You cannot expect ice. So why in our medical science? Our medical science, there must be some laws and rules. Not only the action of medicine can cure a patient completely, it should follow some proper principles, and that principles what Hahnemann has find out by his experiment, starting from the Cinchona-Berg experiment, and he has find out the thing which is called the law, which is called the nature's law of cure. Aphorism number 26, there he is given this natural law of cure, and every cure in this world follows this nature's law of cure. We know Newton's law, we know Pascal's law, there are many types of law. So this is the law, the basic law of medical science. that is the weaker dynamic affection is permanently extinguished in a living organism if the latter, while differing in kind, is very similar to the former in its manifestation. This is the Nietzsche's law of cure given in aphorism number 26, and every type of cure is follows this law. So whenever we are curing a patient, we must be aware that whether we are my cure or my treatment, whether it is following the Nature's law or not, whether I am giving similar medicine or whether whether I am doing whatever I am like, and I am just trying to create a name and fame of mine. So we must see that our cure should follow this easily comprehensible principle. So this aphorism number 2 is very easy, and just you think that how the by the way I am explaining you just like a layman, just to understand you very in a very easy language. It is seen that it may be noted that this criteria of ideal cure, this slide is also from B.K. Sarkar's book. The criteria of an ideal cure were first enunciated by a Greek physician named Asclepius. And Asclepius also styled as Hippocrates of chronic disease. His motto was Cito tutu et jucunde, that is, disease should be treated speedily, safely, and agreeably. This was his dream, and the world has to wait for nearly 2000 years till Hahnemann succeeded in materializing his ideal. Now, something extra, this word which I collected from B.K. Sarkar's book, it is in your exam you may not write it, but you must know that Asclepius was a great person of medicine in the history of Greek medicine. By that time, that was far before Hippocrates, and it is about more than 2500 years from now, and he was the person who was expert in medicine. We know that Hygeia and Panacea, he had two daughters. On them we are getting the symbol of the today's doctor's symbol, what we use the doctor's symbol, that is, there is one stand and there are two snakes. These two snakes are the pet snake of Hygeia and Panacea. Hygeia is known as the goddess of hygiene, and Panacea is known as the goddess of cure. And the Asclepius was considered as one of the greatest person of medicine. So this was his dream, that this type of cure should be there. And after a long time, when the question of cure aroused by Hahnemann, Hahnemann has made a revolution in the medical field by writing this aphorism number 2, giving us the direction how ideal cure should take place. If we go to our book from aphorism number 2, in the appendix we can see that the first edition only adds in parenthesis rational system of medicine. Rational, we can say in very short, it is a scientific system of medicine. And when we use this our treatment, when we do a treatment, we are a man of science and we should do everything scientifically. Regarding our question, so in our aphorism number 2, in short I can tell you that each and every aphorism can be interconnected with each other. If we read the aphorism one after another, you will gradually get an idea about the organ of medicine very clearly. So in aphorism number 1 we have discussed that what is the mission of the patient, that is, mission is to cure, and what type of cure it should be, that is given into a highest ideal of cure. And I have told you this when there is a question or explanation of aphorism number 2, you just point out these points and explain one after another. Our question is, describe highest ideal of cure according to Hahnemann's organon. So you just first of all you just write in organon of medicine, in the aphorism number 2 Hahnemann has described about the highest ideal of cure. Then you write down the aphorism number 2. You should keep remember the aphorism number 2 word to word. You write down this thing, give a short explanation that in aphorism number 2 the Hahnemann has told us, or Hahnemann has written or directed us or make us understand what our ideal cure should be, and this ideal cure should follow this type of things or this type of points which I am going to explain. Then you write one after one another points in your answer sheet, and rapid, gentle, permanent removal, annihilation in the shortest, most harmless, most reliable, on easily comprehensible principle. These points you just explain. Okay. Next question: explain the term easily comprehensible principle. So I have just you just listen to my words when I was explaining the easily comprehensible principle. You can write the easily comprehensible principle. Sometimes there is a confusion that people do not write the nature's law of cure, they directly write the cardinal principle. No, cardinal principle are the principles of homeopathy, you can write that also, but the basic principle through which a cure takes place is the nature's law of cure. So you should mention nature's law of cure or any type of principle. Just explain the why we need a principle, and in nature everything occurs with a principle or following a principle. So our cure should also follow this principle. Again, now define cure. So we can say that restoration of sick to health is called cure, which follows the aphorism number 2. Actually, this aphorism number 2, the highest ideal of cure, that is, the cure should have these ideals. And actually, if we want to write a proper definition of cure, aphorism number 2 is a proper definition of cure according to me. You may have many definitions from the Wikipedia, from Webster dictionary, from other dictionary, from the our reference book, etc. But do not forget to write aphorism number 2 when there is a question of definition of cure. This is aphorism number 2. Gradually, it depends on the length of the lecture, depends on the content of the aphorism. We will continue in aphorism number 3 and thereafter. If you have any question, you can WhatsApp to this number. I am Dr. Shaurik Ghosh. See you again. Thank you. Goodbye.